Hey, what's up there, BFA? So today I want to show you how to put images into your thesis. So first off, hope you're doing fantastic. This should be fairly quick. Okay, so you should, if you're using Word, uh, that's what I'm going to show you how to do. If you're using something different, I apologize. Now you might have a different version of Word, so this might be a little different, but I don't think it's changed much for a long time. So let's say you're writing along. So this is my writing. Um, and then you realize, like, oh man, I'm talking about this piece of work that I've done, or I'm talking about the work that my inspiration has done, or one of my inspirations, or somebody that I look at. I want to reference that in the paper. And so if you look at this example, this is one of the examples that I sent you, and this is in our Canvas files under thesis example. You'll see this person has started an abstract, right? So they're basically talking about what the thesis is. So they're just saying, like, this paper describes whatever. And then if you look, here's their first image. And if you look at this thing, it says image 1 down here at the bottom, right? So right there, image 1. And then if you look up in the paper, he's got image 1 here also. So as you read through this, the regression of religion, and this is in italics, so we know that's a title. So the regression of religion, image 1, directs the viewer to question blah, 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 blah. When we see this image 1, usually what's going to happen is that directs us to know that whatever this sentence is somehow talking about this image, right? And so then we just gain greater understanding of what this writer is trying to say when they show us the image. Okay, and then as you go through the paper, when we see the second image here, it should say image 2, and when we read the text, we should find image 2, right? And this person is now talking a little bit about history, right? So they're talking about whatever, how their concept developed with regards to photographic history. So they're saying daguerreotypes, image 2, so we can look down, see what a daguerreotype is, were produced, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so what I want to show you how to do is I want to show you how to put the image in, and then I want to also show you how to put the caption, and that's what we call this thing below the image. A couple things you're going to have to decide. Do you want the images to be, I would say this is like in the text, and then this is surrounded by the text, right? It's up to you. I mean, it's kind of an aesthetic thing. I'm not crazy about the surrounded by. I do have, you'll see in the thesis examples, my MFA thesis is in there, and at that time I liked the text surrounding the images, and now my aesthetic has just changed. I think the paper looks a little cleaner when the images are below and above the text. So it's whatever. I mean, it's whatever you choose, whatever you like. One thing I would do, and if you look at this, this person did a good job. You'll see where they have the image 3 in the text, they usually have the image pretty close by, right? So you wouldn't want to say like image 3, and then 4 pages later you have image 3. You will find books, I don't know if you've ever read a book where there are images, and they'll have the image listed, and then the image, they'll like have all the image pages in the middle of the book or something. And I think that has to do with like cost of printing probably, but it's pretty annoying, at least in my opinion. But if you wanted to have all your images at the end, as I said, this is your paper, you can make that decision and do whatever you feel like you want to do. Okay, so here we go. So I'm doing the writing, and then let's say I'm going to take an image from Google. You can take the images wherever you can find them. If you find them in a book, there is in the file section, again, there is this thesis MLA tips. In this, you'll see it says use the following for all sources. And I did talk about this in the last video with regards to adding a source in the paper, right? A written source. And then if you look here, it says use the following format images. Use the following format, it should say 4 images. And then, you can see here from museum. So if you went to a museum and took the photograph yourself, this is how you would do it. If you take it from a website, if you take it from a book, okay. I think website is a pretty popular way because it's so easy. You just want to make sure that you reference where you take it from. Okay, so let's say I'm writing about ceramics, right? Because that's what I do or know about. or my work is about that, right? So I'm writing about ceramics. I'm saying like, I make cups. I made a cup. I want to like talk about. I want to show an example of somebody's cups that I like. So let's see. I like this guy. His name is Chris Staley. He makes like pretty nice cups. So here's Chris here. So let's take a look at his cups. Okay, this one's kind of nice with this celadon glaze. So let's say I'm talking in my paper about Chris Staley and I want to reference his cup. I want to say like, my cups are good, but they're not super good. I think this person's cups are really great. Or my forms have borrowed from this person or whatever. Okay, so I want this image in my text and I want to talk about Chris Staley a little bit in there as an inspiration. That's what I'm going to do. What I would do is I would probably go to the website where this image can be found. Right, so here it says Archie Bray Foundation. Now I know a little bit about the Archie Bray Foundation. It's like a ceramic place where they do workshops and whatnot. Now you can see I thought it would take me to an actual web page, but it looks like this. If I look at the link up here at the top, it looks like this was a gallery exhibition auction. Okay, so there's not a ton of information here, but let's go ahead and say this is the image I'm going to put in my text. So the first thing I would do is I would go to the website, find the image, right click on the image. Hopefully it's an image that you can save. If it's not, maybe you can do, you could do Command Shift 4 and do screenshot, right? If you can't find the image, and that will usually save it as a JPEG or a PNG that you can then turn into a JPEG, I think. Let's see. Anyway, get the image however you can. And then you're going to want to put that image into your text. Sometimes it's a good idea to have the text written and kind of know what images you're going to use before you put them in, because as I've said, Word can be a little tricky with regards to like putting images in and then moving them around. But let's just say that you're going to give it a go. Okay, so I've got the image here. I'm just going to drag it straight in, right? And you can see here it's allowing me to do that. You could, if you wanted, you could go up to File, probably Insert, Pictures, Photo, from File, go to your desktop where my picture is at, grab it, throw it in. Okay, so there we go. So there's our image. Now, why Word is kind of difficult is because let's say I'm writing and I don't want the image here. I want it like down more. So I want to move it down. Word is not all that into allowing you to move it very easily. And then let me change the scale. Oh, the scale of this thing's too big. Okay, I like the scale, but now I want it to be in the middle, or I want it to be at the bottom. Word is a little difficult with regards to that. So what you're going to do is you're going to right click, and if you already know this, my bad. I would watch the rest of this though really quickly because I'm going to show you how to caption, and I'm going to just talk about what I do with the picture, so it might be different than what you do. Anyway, so you're going to go to Format Picture. So let me do that again. Sorry, I was talking. I right clicked and went to Format Picture here at the bottom. When you click on the picture, at least in this version that I have, so here I am. If I click on the image, this little tab comes up. Actually, it says Picture Format, right? So here it's not there. It's nowhere. I click on the image, boom, Picture Format. So let's go to that. You've got a bunch of stuff here that you can do with your image. I normally, if I really want to change something, I tend to be doing that in like Photoshop or something. But if you're good with Word, you might be able to make changes in here. I'm sure you could crop fairly easily. But anyway, let's find what we want, and we want a range, and that's right here. Okay, so let's see what the drop-down menu looks like. And then what we really want here is we want position, and that's here. Again, your Word might be a little different, so you might just have to look around for this stuff, but it shouldn't be super difficult. And then here you can see it says with text wrapping, right? So this one is position in top left, position in top corner, blah, blah, blah. So it just shows you all the places you can have the image. And this is text wrapping. So that's the situation where the text is going to go around your images like this person has it here, right? If you're not into that, if you're like, oh, I'm not really crazy about the text wrapping, which I would agree with you. Let's go to Format Picture. So we're already there, but let's just go the long way here. Let's see what happens. So Format Picture. Oh, now it's on the side here. Let's go to Format, Crop. No, no, no. What's this? No. Go back to that. Transparency, Crop. Okay, none of these are what I want. What I really want is arrange. So let's go back to position. Now, if you look on here, you can see now this one says with text wrapping. This one is in line with text. So that's going to probably put it in the middle. We could try that. Let's see what happens. Did it do it? Okay, must have already. I'm going to move it. No, okay, so I still can't move it. So let's go one more time. Let's go back to arrange, position, more layout options is what we want here. I want to find, and you'll see text wrapping, size. Let's try text wrapping. This is really what I wanted, was like these little pictures. And I guess I already had a chance to do this. But what I was really looking for was in front of text. That was really what I wanted, in front of text. Let's go back just for a second, see if that was already there and I missed it. Position, maybe this is it. Position in middle, no. Center. So I don't see it here. This is just all about where the picture is. What I wanted there, and as I said, was I want the one that says in front of text. Or you could do behind, it doesn't matter. One of these two I would choose. So if you do in front of, and we click OK, you should now have like the power to move this thing around anywhere you want, and to change the scale and still move it around. So you can really place the image anywhere. Now you'll notice it will go over top of your writing. So if we have a bunch of writing on here, let's see what this looks like. Okay, so if we have a bunch of writing on here, just know that you need to get your image into a place where you're not covering it up. Now, this isn't going to work as well if you want to have this style. If you want to have it wrapping around your text or around your image, then you're probably going to want to use, let's put the image right here. Let's put it on top of the text. Let's go back to format picture. Let's go to arrange. Let's go to position. And let's just go with one of these text wrapping possibilities, and let's see what happens. Okay, it just moved it down. Let's see if it's smaller and we do that. All right, so there you go. So you can see how it's moving the text around it, right? So if you like it like that, fantastic. As I said, I'm more into it not being like that. It does look like, though, as soon as I chose one of these text wrapping options, I had greater ability to move this guy around a little bit. All right. So anyway, play with that, get it how you want. As I said, it might be a good idea to have a little bit more text so that you can, you don't have. I feel like the less you have to move the images, the easier and better it would be. But whatever. Okay, so we got the image where we want. It's now one thing I would do is in here. Here's my text. This is my writing. La 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 la. I would probably first of all make sure all the font is the same size. No. Sorry. Okay, so here's my font. Now in here, I'm going to want to make sure I say image 1. Right? Or sometimes people call them figures. Figure 1. All right, whatever you want. The only thing you have to worry about here is making sure that whatever this says, figure 1, whatever this is, that it's going to match in your caption. So to create a caption, I'm going to go back to my image. I'm going to right click on the image. I'm going to roll down to where it says insert caption. Okay? Insert caption. Now this little window here is going to pop up. Okay, and you can see it says caption, image 1. Now I wrote figure, right? So I need this to say figure. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go label. I'm going to, okay, so it's got equation, figure, image, table. So you can have any of those 4, or you can do new label, right, and create your own. Now I know that I want figure, so let's go. Okay, so now it says figure 1. Perfect. Now you can, if you want, you can go ahead and type all the information right in here, right? So you could say figure 1, author name, blah, 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 blah. I don't like doing it that much in this. I find I just don't feel it's free. I don't know why, but feel free to do that. What I'll normally do is I'll just say, okay. And now you see it put that figure caption right below my cup here, so which is perfect. Now it puts this in italics, which I'm not super crazy about. And the reason I'm not crazy about it is I like in the papers for the titles to be in italics. So what I would probably do is I'm going to go ahead and unitalics that. All right, so I've got figure 1. Now, the great thing about allowing, you probably could figure out how to make a little text box and like do all this by yourself, but the nice thing about allowing Word to create your caption for you is next time I put an image in here and I do create caption, it's going to automatically go to figure 2, figure 3, figure 4. So it knows how many images you have and how many captions you've made, which is kind of handy. Okay, so I've got my figure. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to this MLA tips that I gave you, and I'm going to look down in here where it says use the following to format images. I'm going to find from a website, and that's right here. So the first thing it says, last name, first name, middle initial. I don't mind how you do this. Right? I don't mind how you do it as long as you're consistent and you have like the most important stuff. So the most important stuff is definitely going to be the person's name. Now it might be that you might get into a tricky situation where you find like a photograph that was taken by someone and their name's in there, and then also the person's artwork, whose it is, right? So you'll just have to try to make it clear what you're doing here. So if this was, I might put the person's name who made the work, and then in parentheses put like photographed by, and then the photographer's or the photographer's name in parentheses. I don't mind how you do it as long as you're consistent within your paper. Okay. Okay, so I've got figure 1. I'm looking first, last. So we know that my artist's name is Chris Staley, right? So we knew that. So we're going to do his last name first. So Staley, comma, C. That's how I'm going to do it. Okay. And then I'm going to make a space. Now, there is not much information for this cup that is made here, right? So I'm going to just go ahead and guess or invent maybe. Here's an image possibly of the same cup or a different cup, but its title looks like it's cup. Okay, and so I'm just going to title this thing cup. So C-U-P, period. What I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and put that in italics so that the viewer knows that that's the title of the piece. Space. What's next? Year created. I didn't see that information anywhere, so I'm not going to put that. Oh, where was I? I think I was here. I see 08, so it could be 2008. We could put 2008, but I'm just going to leave it blank because I'm not 100% sure. What's next? Year created. We did that. Photograph. I guess that means like that this is a photograph, so we probably could put like ceramic, right? But I'm not that worried about that. I get the feeling that people probably will know what that is. But if you want to put material in there, you can. No big deal. Museum institution. Now, I said that I did know by looking at the web address here that the Archie Bray is a, I know what the Archie Bray is. If I didn't know, I could Google it. We could Google that just to see what is this thing. If you can't find the information, just don't put it. All right, Archie Bray Foundation for Ceramic Arts, right? So I know what this place is. So let me go back. Let me go. I don't want the italics. So let me go Archie Bray Foundation. Okay, period. Let's go back to our thing here. Museum institution, location. I'm not going to worry about that. Website title. I think this is probably the most important thing, right? Besides the figure 1, the person's name, this is the next most important thing, and this is where you found the image. So I found it here. So I'm going to go ahead and copy that website address, and I'm just going to paste that into my paper. Now you can see it got a little crazy here. I'm just going to make sure that I choose match destination formatting. Okay, and then the last thing you should have to do is basically just put date, month, year accessed. Now it says web here. I get the feeling that if people see a web address, they're going to understand it's the web. So date, month, year accessed. So this is 4/8. Oh, I'm going to actually put accessed. I'm going to go ahead and put that accessed, and then I'll just put a like colon or semicolon, whatever that thing is, and then I'll do 4/18/20. All right, so there you go. So there is my caption. All right, now let's say I write more stuff and I want to move my image. When I move it, you'll see my caption doesn't move, right? Which kind of stinks, but you should be able to just grab your caption, drag it, move it where you need to. If something happens and it gets messed up, I would just, as you're collecting these images, you might even just name it like the web address or something, or keep the information off to the side. Because sometimes if my captions get messed up, I'll just be like, you know what? I'll just erase it and start over. And I have found with words sometimes it just is a little tricky, you know. But again, I don't mind so much how you do this, as long as the reader, I would be able to see and figure out how to find this image if I wanted to look at it. So if it's in a book, you need to make it clear where in the book it is, you know, and you want to give proper kudos to whoever like made this object or made this photograph. Okay. If you have any questions on this, let me know. I would say just get in here, and as you're writing, kind of play around with it, and it's not super difficult. If you really have a problem, you could always Google and find a video. Okay, hope that helps. Talk to you later. Oh, sorry, last thing. You don't need to create, so you're creating a bibliography for your sources of your like written sources. You don't need to create a bibliography for your images unless you felt like you wanted to. I think this is enough of a reference. Okay? All right. See you later.